Welcome to this two-part video starting in Bergen in Norway, travelling via the train to Oslo for a short stopover with the final destination being Stockholm in Sweden. This is a trip that I made in the opposite direction about 15 years ago, so sit back and enjoy some of the images that I took and scenes that I filmed throughout my journey. And throughout it I will drop in some insights. So I'm starting out on a 1-hour harbour tour. It's a great way to check out different parts of the city from the water and gives me a different perspective than if I was walking around on the streets. So here are some of the views that I filmed throughout this trip. These are the famous Bergen warehouses. They're about 1,000 years old and they're quite a tourist attraction, but they do make for some interesting photographs. And when you get the light, you can get some really nice shadows and details as you walk in between the buildings. Obviously I spent quite a bit of time here, as you can tell. One of the great things about Bergen is exploring the residential streets with cobblestones, alleyways, houses side by side with small little gardens. You can easily just wander around and find pictures, just turning the corner. This is one of my favourite views, with the houses side by side, with the cobblestones, with the view of the mountains in the background. These are a few images that I took of the local graffiti art. Some were really interesting to take, like this building, plus a few on the side streets that I found. This is called a Floran. It's one of the surrounding mountains that cover the city. You can catch a train that will take you to the top where there's a viewing area, and you can sit back and enjoy the city and the landscape. You can also take a hike, which is what I did, which took at least an hour. This is the view of Bergen at sunset, where I stayed for a good couple of hours before heading back down to the city, this time taking the train down. With an early wake-up call to catch the 6:20 train to Oslo, the first part of my journey was going to be in total darkness, so I could catch up on a bit of sleep. Once I'd woken up from a short nap and the sun had risen, I'm left with snow-capped mountain tops, open plains, small towns and villages covered in snow. For the next 5 hours I spent my time bouncing from one side of the carriage to the opposite side of the carriage, looking outside the windows, trying to take pictures, filming some scenes. It definitely kept you occupied, so sit back and enjoy this journey. Been to Oslo before 15 years ago, and this was only going to be a short stopover for about 3 hours. It gives me a bit of time to stretch my legs, have a quick look around town before jumping back on the train and heading to Stockholm. So here are a few images. Due to the train times travelling from Oslo to Stockholm, we're only going to get about half an hour of daylight, so here's a few clips out the window before the sunset. This is the end of my journey for part 1, so stay tuned for part 2, which will be in Stockholm.